Hi everybody, so the topic I wanted to speak about today is stress. I want to know how you deal with your stress. You know, we all have different stresses in our life. It can be things like emotional stress, physical stress, environmental stress, being around negative environments and negative people. We all have stressful things going on every day in our lives, and I want to know how you personally deal with your stress. Now, it can be, a lot of common ones is binge eating. Also, stress non-eating is one. Drinking, it might be drugs. You might have developed a great habit and you might currently be dealing with stress through exercise. I want to know how you deal with your stress. And it's very important that you understand, your triggers and what triggers you and the stresses that you are currently going through in your life, especially if you are trying to lose weight, get healthy and get fit. You need to be aware of what your triggers are and how you cope with stress. Now, you can cope with stress in different ways. So, for example, with myself, if I am stressed about something financial, for example, that will cause me to want to go for the food. I tend to be a binge stress eater. If I'm worried about, something like bills or, money or business or something financial, I tend to go for eating. On the other end of the spectrum, if I'm emotionally stressed, so let's just say I'm upset, say if I've, in the past when I've gone through relationship breakups or something like that, initially I will definitely be a stress non-eater. Okay, so I will be so anxious and so stressed out that I probably wouldn't be eating a lot. And then I guess for other stresses as well, if I'm feeling a lot of pressure, I'll tend to want to have maybe a wine or something like that to relax myself. So I want to know what you do and what your pressure releases are for you to deal with stress. Now, you might not even think that you're stressed out, and a lot of people have a lot of underlying stress, so you might consistently be under pressure, and because you're so used to being stressed out, you don't even realize that you are stressed out, and that's the pressure and stress that you've got to really get on top of, because that underlying stress can cause chronic stress levels, chronic cortisol, high cortisol levels in your body. It can cause disease and different ailments in your body. Chronic stress is horrible, and unfortunately that's the stress that most of the time we're unaware of. Our body gets used to functioning at that high stress level that you might not even be aware that you are stressed out. Now, the reason why stress is so important, and it's not just, a matter of how you deal with the stress. So, for example, if you're a stress eater, you're a stress binge eater, of course that's going to affect your weight loss. It's going to affect the way that you feel. If you're binging out on ice cream or you're binging out on chocolate or something like that, of course it's going to make you feel crap. You're going to feel crap the next day. You're going to feel guilty, disappointed, on top of the stress that you're already feeling. But on top of that, when you're stressed out, our bodies produce cortisol, or it increases the production of cortisol, which is the hormone. This stress hormone is working against you when it comes to trying to lose weight, trying to build lean muscle mass, and trying to get leaner. Because what it does, it encourages your body to store fat, and it encourages your body to store fat around your stomach, okay? So you might find if you go through a stressful period in your life, you might gain weight. You also might find that the fat around your stomach is really hard to get rid of. No matter how much exercise you do and no matter how healthy you eat, you got to find it really hard to get rid of that tire, that stomach, that hard stressed stomach. So it's very important from a fat loss and a health and fitness point of view that you try to figure out what your triggers are when it comes to stress. how stressed out you are currently, and you need to figure out how to deal with your stress in a way that's not going to sabotage your weight loss as well, and also your health too. You know, if you're dealing with stress and you're going out and drinking every single night just to deal with the pressure or deal with the stress, not only is that going to make you gain weight, it's also going to have an effect on, you know, your health and fitness as well. You're not going to be sleeping well. I see this a lot. You know, when you drink a lot, you don't sleep well. You know, your concentration levels are not the best. You have brain fog. You can suffer more depression and anxiety as well. Alcohol can make you feel depressed and anxious, believe it or not. Even though a lot of the time most people are trying to escape those feelings, it can actually make those feelings worse. So it's very important that you figure out ways to deal with your stress in healthy ways, or healthier ways, in ways that are going to serve your body rather than work against it. And I know this is easier said than done. You know, I've totally been there, and there's some times where, you know, I'm just like, you know what, stuff it. I'm just gonna, you know, have whatever it is, have that glass of wine or whatever it is, and that's totally okay. You're allowed to release the pressure, but I think the problem comes in is that when you're chronically stressed and you're chronically going through a really hard time and you're just constantly looking for ways to escape. So, you know, you're constantly binging out on chocolate every single night, or you're constantly going for the wine every single night, you know, and you're just trying to keep escaping from the bad feelings that you're feeling and the stress that you're feeling. I think that's when you've got to really figure out how to make yourself feel better without doing things that are going to work against your weight loss, that are going to work against your health and fitness, because in the long run it's actually going to make you feel worse. You know, you're increasingly not going to be able to deal with your stress. You know, the more you kind of push it down and try to escape, you know, the less you kind of confront the issue, the less you deal with the issue, and you know, the issue is just going to keep coming up for you. So just something to think about today. You know, it is very important. Stress is a killer. It is such a killer, and it's so hard these days. You know, we have a lot of stresses on us. We have a lot of pressure, you know, financially, emotionally, mentally. Our environment is very stressful. You know, there's a lot of stressful and negative things going on these days in our world. So even things like that can make us feel stressed and anxious. So just a thought for the day is figure out whether you have, first of all, underlying stress that you need to address, that you need to maybe try to overcome. And it might be just a matter of something like, you know, if you know, you have negative people in your life, maybe you need to think about spending less time with them, or maybe you're living in a negative environment. Maybe if you can, start figuring out to get out of there. Maybe you're in a job that you hate. You know, maybe it's time to look at finding another job, okay? Things like that. So underlying stress is that chronic stress. Figure out whether you've got that going on. See where you can make your life better and feel less stress in your life. And then, you know, your stresses that just come up in our life, you know, next time you feel quite stressed, you know, ask yourself how you're going to deal with this and how you can deal with it better. Sometimes it's unavoidable, and I totally understand that. But I think, you know, try and get yourself in a habit and try to find other ways to deal with your stress that aren't going to work against your weight loss, that aren't going to work against, you know, you trying to get healthy and fit. You know, it's horrible. You know, stress is a horrible thing, and sometimes circumstances come up that, you know, you can't even stop them. You know, you can't stop it. There's always going to be stress. There's always going to be things that upset you, or things that come up in your life. But, you know, the best thing that you can do is to figure out a way to deal with it, figure out a way that works for you and that's actually going to serve you rather than work against you, especially when it comes to losing weight and, you know, being healthy and fit. Anyway, I hope everyone has an amazing day, and we'll chat soon. Bye.